Why on earth is this rally car so high in the air? What's the backstory here? And surely this picture is fake, right? Well, actually, no. Also, did you know that some rally cars could technically be classified as aeroplanes? And that's not even hyperbole. I'll explain why, and I'll also show you a lesser scene on board of that flying Evo. All of that and more coming up. The World Rally Championship is synonymous with flying cars. These clips are shared all over YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and any other platform anyone's heard of. But what about the backstories of these famous clips and crazy pictures? Let's start with this picture of a Lancia 037 mid-flight as a crowd of spectators scurries away from the path of the Italian machine. What on earth is going on here? What you're seeing is the famous Farfet jump in Portugal. Farfet is one of the most famous rally stages in the WRC history. The Rally of Portugal is one of the founding rallies of the World Championship, as it was present on the 1973 calendar, and on that rally in 1973, stage 17 would be the Farfet stage. Every year, enormous crowds of spectators converge on the Farfet stage to watch cars fly over one of the WRC's most famous jumps. The iconic photo you're seeing here is Attilio Bettega in 1984, but this famous jump has seen many other well-known pictures and videos over time. The spectators have been moved further back from the stages, but the event remains as popular as ever. Rally Portugal this year attracted 800,000 spectators. That's nearly twice as many as Formula One's highest live attendance, and the Farfet jump still entertains. But now the crowds are in a safe space. The drivers can push harder. They take the jump way faster now, but that means mistakes. In 2019, Gus Greensmith got it all right at first, but then suddenly, smash, he gets it well and truly wrong. Now that's certainly not the fastest line through that corner. Quentin Gilbert here managed to crash his car into the ground. You don't see that every day. Now here's Sébastien Ogier in the Polo WRC showing the others how it's done. Such a beautiful and iconic shot. That one. You can still see the Farfet jump live to this day, and you'll be able to see it for many years to come. Farfet is the final stage of Rally Portugal, so make sure you watch that in 2025. From one famous jump to another, how's this for a crazy picture? You're probably wondering how on earth this isn't fake. The car is so high up, they'll never manage to get it down from there, at least not without a very big ladder. But you just watch this. I told you it was real, but the story behind this jump is just as intriguing. This jump is called the Ruimaki jump. It's actually an artificial jump based on another famous jump called the Yellow House jump, with the angle and profile of the two jumps matching each other exactly. I'll get onto the Yellow House jump later, but the speed approaching the Ruimaki jump is a little bit higher, and the road is straighter after the jump. So the less famous Ruimaki jump does see the cars get more airtime, and since the jump marks the finish line, the drivers can push hard knowing if something goes a little bit wrong, it'll be after the finish line, so they can repair their car for the final liaison without losing stage time. The result is these spectacular shots of rally cars well into the air. Here's Adrien Fourmeau taking off, and that's a long time airborne. Even Adrien was shocked by that one. And it's not just him flying far. Check out Neuville's airborne display here. Now that's impressive stuff. The reason these cars are flying so far is that they have more downforce at the rear than the front. So as they take off, they pitch rearwards, lifting the nose, extending the jump. But what about when the aero balance is too far rearwards? Here's Ogier taking off and bash! That was a tail strike. The diffuser ripped off the Frenchman C3, but in the end, it didn't matter as it finished the rally. The Ruimaki jump isn't the only crazy jump in the Rally of Finland. The Thousands Lakes Rally is famous for its massive, many jumps. And here's just one of these many jumps again being approached by a Citroen C4, and again, another Citroen, another tail strike. This one being driven by Evgeny Novichok. He managed to get away from that one without too much damage, but unfortunately for the Russian, he still crashed it a couple corners later due to his lack of talent. It was a frustrating end to the rally, which didn't go his way at any point. Already down in 70th position after crashing on stage 2 and having to restart under Super Rally regulations, Novichok did not have a good weekend. But let's not dwell on that, because we've got more crazy finish jumps to cover. And next up, we've got something the locals refer to as Keltai Santal on Hüpfü. That translates to Yellow House Jump. This may possibly be the most famous jump in the World Rally Championship. Named after the yellow house on the left side on the approach, this is the famous jump that the Ruimäki jump is based on. This one's a little more difficult given the slight bend in the road. Plenty of spectacular jumps have happened here, but it's also been a scene of rallies gone wrong. 2002, Richard Burns, he was leading the rally in his Peugeot 206 when crunch! That was a hard landing, and it did no good for the car. The turbo pipe was crushed, and he was slow for the rest of the stage. He dropped to 3rd place, and would only manage to climb back up to 2nd by the end of the rally. The iconic Yellow House jump can definitely bite. But what about this image here? Well, this is just AI-generated nonsense, of course. I hate seeing AI-generated nonsense, but it's all over YouTube, especially posting completely fake motorsport news videos that mislead the viewers. That's why I've started my second channel, FR Daily, where I post daily updates about what's happening in motorsport, so you can get a reliable, timely source of information about motorsport where facts are verified and there's no nonsense. There's a link to the channel in the pinned comment. Anyway, back to the video. The Yellow House jump certainly packs a punch, but remaining in the Nordic region, we look across the Baltic Sea to Sweden. That jump in question is Collins Crest in Sweden. As the name suggests, it's named after Colin McRae. Beginning in 2008, a competition was established at Collins Crest to see who can jump the longest distance in memorial of Colin McRae. In 2008, Khalid Al-Qasimi would be the first winner of this competition, with a 36-metre jump. The only notable achievement in Khalid Al-Qasimi's World Rally Championship career, but this would soon be surpassed. Most notably, Eivind Brynildsen's record-breaking jump of 45 metres. And what's the best part of that? The fact he did it in an R5 car. Only 2 drivers have managed to win the Collins Crest Award from the lower class, but over the years, the amount of snow at Rally Sweden was beginning to decline, so the WRC made the decision to abandon the old rally route and move further up north, meaning Collins Crest is no longer in the World Rally Championship. But the road has not ended for Collins Crest. The Royal Rally of Scandinavia now uses that very same road, meaning the European Rally Championship is now the home of Collins Crest. Collins Crest will provide plenty of airborne entertainment to rally fans the world over. But let's move on to some footage of the man the Swedes named their jump after, Colin McRae. This time, he's in Australia, and watch this crazy ride. That's a roller coaster if ever I saw one. So what's happening here? Well, this stage's name is quite hilarious to any Australians in the audience. It's called Bunnings. I'm not sure if it's because it was sponsored by the warehouse or if it was just a coincidence, but if it is just a coincidence, Bunnings Warehouse did capitalise on that coincidence by sponsoring it. Now, watch Colin McRae's on board of this crazy ride. That's spectacular. He didn't win the stage, but he did go on to win that rally. In 2001, he tried to beat it by 10%, another wild ride, and this time a stage win. Bunnings jumps are in Australia, and the Rally of Australia is where local star Chris Atkinson made a name for himself with 4th place in a production car in 2004, and he's no stranger to crazy jumps. Here he is in Sardinia, nose down and slam. That's a big hit, but he avoids hitting anything too solid. But onto something more recent that happened in another. Japan Airlines. In the final stage of the Rally of Mexico 2023, there was a big jump. Takamoto Katsuta said he thought he could do it flat, so he made a bet with Oyt Tanak that he could jump further and take it flat out. What was this bet over? It was over a cheeseburger. That's not even a joke, that's actually what the bet was over. Tanak landed hard, but Katsuta judged it to perfection and he jumped further, meaning he won the cheeseburger. But moving on to a place that isn't famous for cheeseburgers at all, in 2010, the Rally of Turkey saw some absolutely crazy jumps. Now have a look at how steep this crest is, and wow! That Evo is absolutely flying. What on earth is happening here? Ukrainian driver Alexander Salyuk was going well in the Group N class. He was on the podium, consistently sticking in second place in his Mitsubishi Evo 9. Approaching the jump, he was pushing hard to make up time, but he approached too fast. He jumped well into the air, and the hard landing was enough to break off his front left wheel. After concluding that his Evo handles much worse when it only has 3 wheels, Salyuk retired from the rally, but he certainly won over the hearts of local spectators and rally fans across the globe with that enormous jump. We haven't got the actual numbers, but I do believe it's the highest jump in WRC's history. Something we do have the numbers for though is the longest jump in WRC history, and that happened in 2010's Rally of Turkey as well. Sebastian Loeb, the record holder of record holders, happens to hold this record too. 85 metres. It's massive. In fact, it's so far that it's further than the Wright brothers' first flight. And since it became airborne due to momentum caused by its own power, that makes it a powered flight, in my mind. So, if that's the case, we can genuinely classify the Citroen C4 World Rally car as an aeroplane. And I think with that jump, he surely would have given his altitude in flight levels. Say what you want about French cars, they build good planes, which must be why the Citroen C4 World Rally car was so successful in the World Rally Championship. But Turkey still had some bite in it. Same jump as that Evo, and this time it's Ogier, and that's nose down again. He's lucky the radiator didn't break doing that. So, what's the optimal car for taking jumps? For this, you need a lot of ground clearance, quite obviously. Give that suspension more room to absorb the landing force. And you don't want soft suspension either. Although it seems counterintuitive, soft suspension absorbs bumps, doesn't it? But it's bad for jump landings. The spring just fully compresses to the bottom very quickly when there's still more energy to be absorbed, and that makes the landing very hard. You want firm springs to give the car some support. For the aero, you want to have more downforce at the rear for jumps. That raises the nose and makes a landing softer. Just like the way an aeroplane lands with a flare, a rally car that flares itself on a jump will be kinder to its suspension. But doing this also increases jump distance, and when the wheels aren't in the air, they aren't accelerating the car, and that slows you down, so you don't want to go too rearwards on the aero balance. If you go even further back, you'll get this happening. Whether it be the red gravel of Western Australia, the huge speeds of Yamsa, or the crazy steep jump of Sardinia, jumps will always be one of the most spectacular spectacles in the World Rally Championship. And just remember, every viral rally clip you see on YouTube has a long backstory to tell, which is why if you watch rally highlights on YouTube, you should consider watching the WRC as it happens, so you can get some context for the flashy pics. You know what else you should consider? Subscribing to Failed Races. Thank you for watching.